So welcome everybody to LA2M. My name is Jim Musial, and I am filling in for Derek Miravam today, who had a client event that he needed to attend. So welcome everybody. Do we have anybody that is here for the first time today? Any first timers? One kind of back there showing. Okay. Well, welcome. We're glad you're here today. Hopefully somebody brought you that's been here before. Perfect. So, welcome back everybody else. We've got a great speaker today. We're really glad to see everybody out today. As everybody knows, LA2M is a nonprofit 501c3, and Stacy College is here from Dollarville Printing. She is our treasurer, and because we are a nonprofit, we do have expenses, so we pass the hat. I think everybody here knows that. So we do ask for like a $5 donation if you're able to help out. That's great. So Stacy's going to get the champagne bucket today. We got the champagne. For a special speaker, we brought out the champagne bucket. So we appreciate that. So we've got a great speaker today, but as part of the great speakers that we bring in the way that we also, besides passing the hat, we also have sponsors here at LA2M. We have a couple sponsors this month. Actually, we have the Women's Exchange of Washtenaw. We're going to hear about that at the end, so thank you. And also we have the Foresight Group that we're very happy to have as sponsors. And Kevin is here from the Foresight Group and is going to say a few words.
Thank you, Jim. I also have Bob from Foresight here as some support today to help me out with my props. Again, we're from the Foresight Group, print communications company. We have several centers of excellence that comprise the group. That's offset printing, digital printing, mailing and fulfillment, display and signage, which I've talked about extensively as I've been up here, especially advertising and promotional products. So again, on the display and signage, we've got an example here of some of the type of work we can do. We brought him in kind of undercover, just so we didn't get attacked on the way in since we're in Ann Arbor. This was a shout out to Derek and some of his associates. He would appreciate this, but it's a good example of something we can do. It's just, it's Spartan. So, I apologize for that coming out of the Michigan turf here.
Go green!
He's the example that I had, and a few of them had a mascot besides the funky block him, and I would have brought it, that's for sure. So that's one end of the spectrum we can do with some of those types of services. The same equipment that does that, the printing and the digital cutting table, can also do finer work like this. So just wanted to show some examples from different ends of the spectrum. And I called a little press last week. A couple people came up to me and said that they appreciated the show and tell stuff and were getting curious as to what I might do next. So I was challenged. I figured I had to go big and I had to go bold. So hopefully nobody's too offended and we make it out in one piece. Thanks.
So hopefully he can stay here. Maybe there'll be some photo ops afterwards if you want to post them on your Facebook page. And speaking of social media, LA2M does have a Facebook page. Carter is here taking pictures, and he usually uploads those usually on the same day. So you'll see yourself on Facebook.
Only got up last week.
It's okay. Sometimes he's got a lot going on. So because he does it volunteer, he does it as soon as he can, and that's what most of the people with LA2M do is they volunteer their time. So we're very appreciative of that. So you guys are in for a treat today. We have a really special speaker, and admiring speaker that gets here, and the first thing he does is order a beer. So cheers to Chris here. I think it's going to help the presentation personally. I may have to go in the back and order my beer. So Chris Moritz is from Lowe, Campbell, Ewald, and I'm going to let him tell you his title. I was going to tell you his title, but it's so long that I really cannot remember it. And I didn't have enough paper to write it all down. But we're really fortunate to have here. We're going to be talking about our wonderful clients that we all work with and the politics that go along with them. So if we could give a warm welcome, an LA2 welcome to Chris, and I'll turn it over to him.
Hi everybody, just make sure, is the mic working? Can you all hear me? Yeah. Okay, fantastic. So this talk that I put together is called How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love Client Politics. Full disclosure, first of all, the actual reason that Derek isn't here is that he owes me money. And he didn't want to be in the same room. So I'm coming for you, Derek. So who I am, I'm the, User Experience and Content Strategy Manager at Lowe, Campbell, Ewald. We're a full-service ad agency based in Metro Detroit. In about 80-some days, we're going to be moving to a brand new facility in downtown Detroit, right in Ford Field. We do traditional advertising, digital marketing, CRM, any kind of digital and traditional marketing and advertising activities we do. We work primarily with national big clients. And that has led me to understand quite a bit about client politics, and I want to share a little bit about with you today.
Hey Chris, real quick, your microphone is not on.
Oh, okay.
Roger, your switch on it?
Nope. Well, there should be, yeah.
We can hear you though.
Okay. Can hear you. You want to bring me the hand mic, and if anybody can hear us? It's like a baton. Here it was. Here, let's do it this way.
Appreciate it.
Okay, cool. That's fine. All right. So I have 10 plus years in advertising and digital marketing, so I hope that means I know what I'm talking about, but that remains to be seen. In terms of my background, I've done site development work. I started the IA department at Campbell Ewald. I started the content strategy department at Campbell Ewald, and I've done a lot of work with digital strategy work. So I've seen a number of different parts of the digital marketing business, and I've been engaged with clients in a lot of different aspects of what they're doing, including new business projects where we're having to pitch business with not a lot of context and information very, very quickly, so we have to put together a lot of information and make a lot of assumptions and make a good persuasive case for our clients. I worked on project work. These are full .com overhauls, project work, landing pages, email, all the things you can imagine. Change management in the sense of new processes and new departments within the agency. I've gotten those sold through and stood up within the organization and understand all the nuances that go along with that. And probably most germane to this is governance. Governance is something that we talk a lot about, but it's about the decisions that get made by clients, who's making decisions when and in what order, and then how do we make that work. So a lot of what is coming out of this talk was built on some of the governance projects that I've been a part of for our clients. So in terms of what I used to think about this, I used to hate client politics with a passion. I could not understand why all this nonsense got in the way of just doing what I knew was the right thing to do. Whether it be a site overhaul, whether it be a landing page, a usability test, the answer to me was very obvious. And for some reason, I could not get clients to listen to me. And it just drove me nuts. And so I was one of the people who would engage in a lot of the navel gazing that's represented in this site. If anybody has been here, it's called Clients from Hell. In here, you are going to get a multitude of stories of baffling decisions, unbelievable requests from clients, and just general nonsense. It's very frustrating and it's very cathartic. If you haven't been there, I suggest you do so. You'll probably recognize something that you've been through personally. So I was very, in my younger days, at the beginning of my career, I was very full of righteous anger. Deep-seated frustration over why I couldn't get the things that I knew were right there. And basically, this was me. Toby Ziegler from the West Wing. Righteous, sad, from time to time boisterous and explosive. I was basically this guy who had sad Toby face all the time when I wouldn't get my way. And I would say, I don't understand why they just don't do what I want. Occasionally I would go over and get very angry, and I would look like this guy and say, why won't they listen? Why won't they listen? I have done third-party research. I've done usability testing. I've done cafe testing. I've got best practices reports. I've got it all done in a nice PowerPoint presentation. I've got it backed up by a 90-page research report, and I still don't get the approval of what I need to get done. And that, to me, was really, really, really frustrating. Then as I got more into strategic planning and more of new business presentations, what we're supposed to do, making the call, I couldn't understand what these decisions were all about. We would get to the very end of a proposal, and it seemed all buttoned up, and we had all the approvals that we wanted, and at the last minute it would fall through. And I couldn't understand why. This seemed to be the weirdest decision. Hey, you know, we're going to do things the right way. We're going to do a digital marketing campaign that has social integration and SEO benefits and usability benefits and conversion goals are going to get met. And you know what we're going to do? We're going to take all that budget. We're going to put it back into TV spots or print ads or something that we already know. And I couldn't understand why we got so close. What happened? Why did it end up this way? So I went through a number of years and a number of projects being very frustrated and sort of complaining to the heavens, and it was sort of that movie scene where you're shaking your hands at the heaven and being like, no! And then, slowly, painfully, over time, I came to a new understanding. Over and over and over again, this was happening to me. I wasn't getting my way. I wasn't getting recommendations that I knew were the right thing all the way through. And at some point, I decided to stop and evaluate what was going on. This was happening again and again and again and again. Is there any sort of pattern that I can discern as to what's going on? And I realized maybe I was the problem. The common denominator was me, right? I'm doing something wrong and I'm not coming to a certain understanding. And as soon as I accepted this notion that maybe where I was coming from was the problem, and maybe I wasn't doing the right thing or understanding the right thing, then it was an epiphany. It was an epiphany for me that I needed to look at what I'm doing for the businesses that I'm working for and the clients that I'm working for, and understand how to motivate them to do the right thing. And in that moment, I was able to go back and look at a wonderful movie that we've all seen, and I came to understand and look differently at a particular character. And I want to know if anybody can tell me, who's this? Does anybody know who this is?
Yeah, but I think it is.
This is Commander Locke from the Matrix series, mostly the Matrix Revolutions. In the movie, this guy is a dick. Okay, he gets in the way of Morpheus and Neo and all the righteous characters who were heroically coming from the Logos to come back. That's the right thing to do. And what I realized after this epiphany of mine is that Commander Locke is underappreciated. Okay? We all hope that we are the hero of our own story, and that what we're going to do is we're going to swoop in to this decision maker, to this client, and say exactly the right thing in exactly the right order, and with all the information and righteousness behind us, they're going to say, you know what, you're right, I'm going to sign that estimate and I'm going to sign to give you my approval. But what you have to understand is that 99% of the time, this guy is right. He's doing exactly the right thing in the right order. When that ship comes in to the dock at the end of that movie and they blow the whole thing, and he's pissed at them, and they're like, well, wait a minute, we just went through this incredible effort that we went through, and they were coming at us and we were shooting them, and we finally seem to save the day. And he's like, you actually screwed us all by doing this. And but for the fact that the hero has to win in the end in a fictional movie, and Neo bails them out with a kind of a deus machina kind of move at the end, otherwise Locke would have been right, exactly right in doing things in the right particular order. So the people who can look like an enemy aren't actually the enemy if you look at it from the right perspective. And what I had to begrudgingly accept is that chances are your client isn't stupid. I know it's tempting, I used to think so as well, but you have to look at it this way. The clients that I tend to work with are for Fortune 500 companies. These are big, giant aircraft carrier organizations. They employ thousands of people, if not tens of thousands of people. And the guy who is usually your client, the woman who is your client, is probably a middle management person. You're generally not speaking to the CEO or the founder or the board of directors. You're probably dealing with somebody in the middle there. Now, that person did not get to that level in an organization that big by being a moron. Okay? Now, I know you can feel that way when you're on the other side of it, but they got there because they're savvy and smart about something. It just might not be the same things that you're into. Now, we want to do the right thing. We want to do good digital marketing. We want to do good digital advertising. We want to do the right thing for the end users. I was part of the user experience group. I know everything about getting a usable product through and making sure that you've got the right conversion points and that you're ranking well on SEO and that you're making strides in social media. But that's not necessarily the same thing that your client is interested in. That client has got about 50,000 different demands on their time that they want. And when you're going in front of them and saying, I need time, I need money, I need people, and I need all these things to make it work, right after you're done talking to them, another person strolls into their office and says, I need time, I need money, and I need people to do it. So imagine that times 15. Okay, all you see is that 1 hour that you're in front of them and say that I need money and I need resources. Well, the media team says the same thing. I'll guarantee you that the traditional advertising agency is saying the same thing. The PR agency is saying the same thing. They're trying to do cost control on the other end. They're trying to save money in order to please their bosses. So you have to understand the pressures that they're under in order to relate to what they're going with. And when I realized at a certain point, I do a lot of work with what we call in the agency client services, account people, if you've been in that kind of area. And they're the ones who are trying to relate to the client. They're the ones who conduct the meetings, they're on the phone all the time, they have each other's personal cell phone numbers, which I think is a disaster, but this is where you get 11 p.m. calls from the client. And it's their job to understand where the client is coming from. Now, to me, as a user experience person and someone in digital marketing, these people for the longest time were the enemy. I don't understand why they can't just advocate for us and look out for us and do what you have to go there and you have to convince the client of what I'm saying. It was basically very, very narcissistic and self-interested. You basically exist to serve my agenda. And I realized that one of the things they have to figure out, and what I encourage you all to be aware of, is knowing the answer to this question. Do you know what your client needs to do to get promoted? Because your client sure does. And if you don't know, you really better find out. Because if you can find some way of relating what you're recommending to a goal that they have, that's not the completion of the project, or the achievement of awareness goal, or the increase in conversion rates, or a cost reduction. These are all the nominal things that your client tells you in their brief that they need to do. Now, their real personal human agenda is probably to get promoted. Now, how do you do that? That's a whole other aspect of what's going on. And if you can find a way to tie your recommendation in a way that they think advances their personal goals, I guarantee you, watch the approvals start flying. Watch the signatures start going on what you want to do, because you've made it worth their while in that way. And if you don't, you're just one of a number of vendors who are asking for stuff from them. Now, in terms of different agendas, it may not be promotion. Maybe that's not the one thing. But here's a bunch of examples of things that people might want. Get a new job. Maybe they want to move to a different agency or a different client. Maybe they need to stick it to a rival in their organization. A lot of times it's like herding cats. You've got a lot of different factions and people together, and what your client's main objective might be is to screw over that person over there because they're marching in their territory. Now that seems petty and it seems stupid and a waste of time, but it's real. And it's something that you can use to your benefit if you know what you're doing. It may be defending turf against an incursion. Maybe it's a bonus. A lot of times what a client won't tell you is if they hit a certain level or they hit a certain figure or they do a certain thing, then that triggers a bonus. It's none of your business to really know about that, but if you can find that kind of stuff out, then you can understand, here's why they're driving at it so incessantly, and here's why they're so hung up on this one little aspect, and I don't understand. Well, it turns out that they're going to get a $50,000 bonus if they hit this target by this particular date. Now, you can either rail against that, or you can sort of inveigh against the heavens about the whole thing, but if you understand it, then it's something that you can go back and communicate to your people and take advantage of. Avoiding accountability. This is one that they'll really rarely tell you about. Let's say they know that a given project is going to go wrong. How do you make sure that you're able to help them cover their ass about it? Because in big organizations, a lot of times, they're just trying to make sure that they don't lose their job and they don't have the accountability on it. On the flip side, keeping the credit is another big one. We've seen examples in some of our client dealings where if somebody sticks their neck out and does something that's not the tried and true thing that they've done year over year over year, and it works fantastically well, their boss will swoop in and say, this was my idea. I think it's great. And so they won't get any benefit. But if it goes wrong, they get all of the blame. And so that leads to people being very risk averse, right? And so it's not that they're stupid people who will never stick their neck out, it's they're not incented to do it the right way. So you have to figure out, are you trying to get the gains or are you trying to avoid the accountability? Maybe it's a diversion, maybe there's different business priorities that they disagree with and there's different corporate moves going on and you need to help them out. Maybe they want to burn a competitor, or maybe they want to win an award. And this last one is another big one. A lot of times, big clients are encouraged by their procurement people. These are the business people on the back end to beat up on their vendors. And they have to look like they're beating up on their vendors and squeezing them. So you need to provide them the theater of looking, oh yeah, I'm going to have to take a slice off my profit margin. Well, you know, you're such a hard negotiator and it's killing me and it's killing me. Oh, here's this email. Because they're going to take that email where you look like you're squealing and taking some of your profit margin off, and they're going to forward that to their boss. And they're saying, look at what a good boy I be, because I'm getting this vendor to be squeezed. Now, this seems like it's all pageantry and nonsense, but this is the business world that we live in. And you've got to get on board with this kind of stuff because it'll help you do what you need to do. Instead of, I guess, what I used to do, just sort of like righteously march in and hope that the very goodness of my ideas would carry the day. So, if there's nothing else that you can take away from what I'm telling you, is that you have to create the conditions to go do good work. Okay, it's not enough to do good work. You're all smart people. You all know what you need to do. You need to create relevant content that's distributed in the channels that people are using and is segmented and optimized and all this wonderful stuff. That's table stakes. It doesn't seem that way because we all sort of strive to learn best practices and what we're supposed to do, but you have to create the environment that's going to allow them to say yes to what you're doing. And so that is something that if you can't either partner with somebody who does client services, you're going to have to do this yourself. And then you're going to need to craft your proposals, your plans, and your presentations accordingly. And so if you can have specific trigger phrases, specific trigger words, if you're going out for drinks afterward with the client, you're able to kind of drop these little hints, understand the pressures and the motivations of where they're coming from, and then they're going to let you do what you both know is the right thing to do. I didn't put it in here, I left it out, but if you've seen that old FDR quote that I think is somewhat controversial as to whether or not it really happened, but it was a group of labor people who went to FDR at a certain point and laid out a case of what they needed to do. They said, this is what we need, this is what the working man needs, and the quote that he said was, I agree with you, I want to do it, now make me do it. Which meant, give me the political cover and the pressure that I need to look like I'm doing the right thing. There's a little bit of more modern example of this is, does everybody know Bernie Sanders, Senator Bernie Sanders out of Vermont? Right, so he's a socialist, right? And an actual socialist, not like the, kind of thing they call people. But during President Clinton's healthcare initiative back in the 90s, after the whole thing fell through, apparently he went to the president and said, Mr. President, I failed you. I'm sorry, I failed you, I wasn't a good enough advocate. And the president said, what are you talking about? Every single step of the way, you were with me. You supported me, you said you wanted to do what I wanted to do. He said, that's the problem, Mr. President. I should have been burning you in effigy in the White House lawn. Because what to say that the president was agreeing with socialist Bernie Sanders made it look too much in one direction from a political perspective. He needed to give him the cover in order to look like what he wanted to do was that nice middle ground thing that everybody seems to love because that seems to be what passes. And so he, in his zeal to support something, he ended up screwing it in the process because he wasn't aware of the factors that go through. So these days, instead of being Toby Ziegler from the West Wing, who I try to be is Leo. Okay? Leo is fair, he's measured, he's loyal to a fault. He tells the president what he needs to know, but he is always looking out for the best interest of his client, I guess in this case is the president, right? He filters the right things, he understands the pressures that he's going under, and he makes really, really good recommendations. So I don't always do it, I do what I can. I suspect that instead of being this guy, I should probably be this guy. Francis Underwood is probably my personal hero when it comes to this, because this guy plays chess. He doesn't play checkers. So, fictional character, but the basic idea is before he goes into a given meeting room, he's already set the conditions for victory for himself. He doesn't walk into a meeting or a room full of people without knowing exactly how it's going to go. So if you're leaving it to chance as to whether or not you know that your proposal is going to go over, you're not doing the right thing. You need to get in front of it before you walk into that meeting so that you know that you're going to win and not hope that you're going to win. And a quote from Washington, D.C. that goes way back, and I think would be representative of what Francis Underwood is all about, is if you're not at the table, you're on the menu. And a lot of times clients need to cut things. And if you're not part of their inner circle and you're not part of their personal agenda, watch out, your stuff might get cut. And your budget might get cut, and your proposal might get denied. And that is basically what I am telling you. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Questions? Does anybody have any particular questions about this? Yeah, hand it over there. I'll try to project.
First of all, thanks again, Chris. Those are great comments. I think we all, at one time or another, have had some of those clients in that list and seen excuses that we've encountered. So I mean, it's great information on how we need to deal with that. Do we have any questions?
Hi, Chris. Always great to hear you talk. A lot of what I do is remote. In other words, I don't have the luxury of being in a meeting face-to-face with the stakeholders. And I'm generally dealing, and as you know, with user experience folks who may be at a much lower decision-making level, but they're chartered with go out and find a vendor. So it's always a challenge to, some of the strategies that you talked about there. It's very difficult remotely when you're dealing with a lower level decision maker. I wondered if you had any insights into that whatsoever, because I'm sure you might have had some experience there.
Yes, I will say the question yes. Is there a technology? Yes, so there is nothing wrong with pursuing this strategy by proxy.
Yeah.
And understanding that if you're briefing that lower level decision maker, of asking them, now just as an aside, now that we're done with the whole presentation thing, do you happen to know what your boss needs to do or is trying to do? You don't have to be blatant about it, but you can get at the idea of what you're going to be doing in there is positioning it as a benefit for that proxy. So this is going to be like, you and I both want to make this work, right? So what we need to do is figure out, is there a priority that your boss needs? Is your boss trying to get a given capability up and running? Well, this will help that, right? So then you're able to tie those things together. Make sure that you tell the decision maker about that. So since you're dealing with a remote scenario, you've got one hand behind your back and probably one leg behind your back as well. But that is something that I would encourage anybody to do in that situation, is establish the same procedure by proxy.
Any other questions?
Sure.
Hi. Thank you for a great presentation. I didn't know what to expect, and it was just perfect timing because I have a couple clients that feel like maybe it's me, and I think that's the case. Sometimes I see they need something else, but the problem is that I end up, because I end up helping. I'm a helper, so I end up doing things that are completely outside of what I'm supposed to be doing. How do you mitigate that? I mean, because I'm not in a big corporation with the client services person and all that.
Okay, well, that's the other side of the temptation, is to end up doing too much. Now, you're not their personal assistant. Okay, so you have to be able to separate strategic objectives from tactical objectives. And everyone's got their laundry that they need picked up, or they need their kids picked up, or they need that kind of stuff. That's low-level tactical stuff. What you need to do is figure out what are your bigger, longer-term priorities. So if you're doing something for them on the time frame of the next couple of weeks, that's too granular. That's too much there. You need to figure out what are you doing next quarter or next year or that kind of thing. You got to make sure that you keep yourself in that kind of space. Because otherwise, there's always some new inbox thing that's coming in, and if they figure out that they can essentially delegate that to you, and then you'll do it for hope that maybe you'll get some other contract on there, then you're being played. Then you're on the other side of that. So Francis Underwood, in that case there, sees that kind of stuff coming, right, and is able to deflect it, or to maybe we should take that offline, or maybe we should do, you can kind of like put it into a box that way without saying no, right? You don't want to be contrarian to your client, but you need to make sure that you're keeping it on the bigger picture, I guess, if you can.
Excellent.
I thought that was a great talk, Chris. My name is Bud Gibson. I teach a lot of undergraduate students and who go out into the world of advertising. And it sounds like you spent a few years sort of cutting your teeth on figuring out politics. Any ways you can suggest to accelerate learning given your past experience?
I hope so. So this presentation is part of that. I'll be giving this presentation to some of my junior level colleagues back at the agency that I work for. Part of the encouragement should be get over yourself, I guess, is the idea. Understanding, I would hope that senior level people who are, let's say, managers or director level people could involve, if it's not directly in the particular client project. I was lucky enough that a couple of people who I had the luck to work with at dinners or over drinks would reveal this stuff to me. Here's what's really going on with that person. So it's incumbent on middle management and senior management to reveal these dimensions. Even if it's a matter of, look, you don't need to worry about this at your level. I need you to just put your nose at the grindstone and work. But at least revealing the game that's going on, right? A lot of times it's tempting just to look at junior level people as worker bees. Go off and work, give me my stuff. The grown-ups are going to be at the grown-up table making the big decisions. Now, that's not to say that everybody is going to rise to that level. But if we, I personally have detected junior level people that I think are on a trajectory for that particular role, and it's for everybody. It's revealing the game, right? Revealing, kind of showing, like here's like we put peel behind it. Here's how things really work, and then within the circle of confidence is taking those couple that you think might have potential and saying, all right, here's a scenario. Here's what he wants. What do you think we should do, right? And wargaming it a little bit, and then seeing like you're not going to do what they want necessarily because they may or may not get it right, but it's asking them, how do you think you should play this particular thing, and letting them go up through the ranks. If that answers your question.
No, that's good.
Yeah.
I have a quick question for you.
Sure.
Is almost bypassing your client because maybe you realize they're not the ultimate decision maker, and how you walk that fine line of not burning that bridge with that client, because that may end up losing the account from that standpoint.
Yes.
But you have to be careful. Can you maybe talk about ways that you can diplomatically, like bringing them along with you so that you can promote them?
I mean, sometimes you need to push your client into doing what's in their best interest, but be very careful about it. Again, you have to rely on your judgment, and having gone through this experience before with the given type of client, make that move when you're prepared to lose that client. And if you're not in a position, let's say financially, you can't take the hit of that, then don't make that move. But if it's a big enough win, like risk-reward kind of scenario, you may want to go above that. But again, that should be a move that you've done the legwork of. You can't go to a senior upper-level decision maker that's above your direct client if you've never spoken to them before and make that move. That's disastrous. But if you keep open lines of communication open with them, and at least in our agency, what we have is we have multiple points of contact. So we've got run-of-the-mill, I guess, account services people going with our direct client. And our upper management at our agency, our C-level people, are having conversations with the C-level people at our client's level. They talk about the commanding heights of things up there. But again, that's where you might want to brief your executives and saying it's appropriate for our C-level person to talk to your C-level person. I understand we have to keep our conversations at this level, but you can open up a line of dialogue for that. It's not always the case to do so, but tread lightly with that move, please.
Hi, I sell online media on an ad network using Rich Media, and I guess I was wondering if you had any insights in terms of conversations with clients, because the range of understanding in digital, it varies, I feel, widely. And you don't want to be insulting, but you also want to make sure that they fully understand what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And so I was wondering if you had any insights on sort of keywords or red flags that pop up, which means, hey, they may not be getting what I'm saying.
Yes, exactly. I am a huge personal fan of metaphors. I think metaphors are a really great way to relate to people. If you're trying to explain something that you know the ins and outs of, but you can't necessarily explain to people. I'll give you a freebie, an example. We were trying to sell through a SEO project, right? We were trying to say, well, you're spending massive amounts of money in pay-per-click and SEM, and you're not getting a lot of the gains from an SEO perspective. And when we were trying to explain the nuances and the differences between the two in organic growth versus paid growth and all that, we couldn't make any traction. We got the kind of blank, glassy-eyed, like, what? I have Candy Crush to attend to. I don't know what you're talking about. And so the angle that I came through is I asked, so let me just ask you a question, like in your own personal life, do you have a 401k? He said, yes, of course I have a 401k. And I said, why? Why do you have that? You need that money right now, right? Can't you use that money that you're from? That's the future. I mean, that's way out there. Don't you have needs now? And they said, well, no. Yes, I mean, I do, but through compound interest, I make more money over time, but I have to be patient. That's exactly right. SEO is like a 401k, right? You have to put a little bit of money away, not your whole thing, but just a certain percentage because it will grow over time. And the light went off for them. Oh, okay, so it's like that. Because what I realized, and as part of this kind of initiative that I came up with, is that person, after they're done with that meeting with you, trots over and has to explain it to their boss. Right? And so if they can't understand it, they're not going to be able to repeat it. And they're deathly afraid of looking stupid or feeble or uninformed in front of their superior. So just like a good political aid that goes through, you need to give your client talking points. Here's 10 things that, can you remember these and be able to repeat these in an elevator conversation in a way that you feel confident about withstanding scrutiny of, right? So it's either providing a metaphor or providing an easy to remember data point so that you're not speaking in paragraphs, right? Of like, well, the only way that I can explain this to you is with this long-winded Aaron Sorkin style treatise that goes through, because they're not going to get that kind of time and they're not going to be able to back it up.
Perfect. I think we have time for one more question.
Chris, how does the beer taste in the afternoon?
I'm sorry?
How does the beer taste in the afternoon?
I recommend Two Hearted Ale. If I can get a sponsorship deal, that'd be great.
Well, I want to mention a few things. You know, you said we all are in the initial stage of the career. We are fine being manipulated, we are fine being played, we are fine being dominated. But once you're growing ground, and once you're pretty stable, and you want to take the next plunge, you don't want to be played, you don't want to be manipulated, but you don't want to burn the bridge too. So how do you take that jump?
You have to know what you're talking about, right? And what I would recommend is that you have to be received and perceived as valuable beyond the project that's in front of your face, right? So if you can be seen as a resource, then people will keep coming back to you. Now, as a personal example, this is probably 7-8 years ago, but I used to send out within the agency that I work for a internal mailing list. It was all FYI emails, and these were articles that I would gather from blog reading and keeping up on that I would say, this one pertains to anybody who's an account manager at our company, or this one pertains to project managers, or this one pertains to developers, and I would send this out as an FYI if you want to take a look at it. And I don't know how many times I heard back from people that said, that one thing that you sent to me 2 weeks ago was exactly what I needed in this situation when I was talking to person X, Y, or Z, right? And then what would happen over the course of a number of months of that is they would start proactively coming to me. Hey, you know a lot about stuff, right? Because you sent me all those good articles there, right? So what about this scenario, right? So I was seen as a valuable resource, right? This is the same thing that we talk about with end consumers with a lot of our digital properties. To be on the right side of value exchange, that my marketing materials need to be valuable enough to somebody that they're not just flagrant self-promotion. So help people, help your client, send them valuable resources, send them great ideas ahead of time. It doesn't cost you anything to do that. It costs you, it's probably stuff you're already looking at anyway. Say, hey, I think you should probably take a look at this. And if they see that over time, but they'll kind of have you in their circle of, I need this person because they've proven to be a good valuable resource, because while I might have the time to go through about a gazillion RSS feeds, I guarantee you they don't. Right? So what seems really, really obvious to me because I keep up on this stuff is not something that's obvious to them. So be a resource.
Awesome. Let's give Chris another round of applause. Again, we're very lucky to have such phenomenal speakers coming in here and sharing with us, and so we hope that you'll share LA2M with your friends and associates. And there is a reason why every seat in this place is not filled every week. We have phenomenal speakers, and it's really great. So we're fortunate to have that. If you're never not, I forgot to say this at the beginning, but if you're ever not able to make it on a Wednesday, we do live stream. Roger Rayle over there provides the video, and it's live streaming on the web, so if anyone's watching right now, we've got to give a shout out to them. Next week is special for a couple of reasons. One, LA2M will be on Tuesday of next week. So it's not going to be on Wednesday. If you come here on Wednesday, this room will be empty. We will all be at TEDx. So if you haven't signed up for TEDx, you should. They're going to be closing it out this week. So get on there. You can look up TEDx Detroit and get the information. So make sure you're here on Tuesday with a great speaker, John Bacon. Most of you, if you're in the U of M area, you know who that is. He has a new book out as well, and he will be here signing autographs on his book and selling his book. I think they're $25, so if you are interested, if you want to buy a book, please bring cash, and they will be available. I think that's it. So again, thank you to Chris for taking the time to be with us today. This is the time of the day where we go around and give our own little plugs. So you got about 30 seconds or so. We'll pass the microphone. If you can stand up, tell us your name, tell us your company. If you have an ask or want, or if you got a great story you got to tell us, but you got to make it quick. And we'll get all the way around the room in less than 15 minutes. So we'll start here with Bud.
Hi, I'm Bud Gibson. I created the search marketing program at Eastern Michigan University, and so I ask my questions because our students are constantly having to convince real clients who they work with of the value of what they're trying to do and why they should put some effort into it. We have a great event coming up November 22nd, the third annual search marketing workshop focusing on search and social media marketing. We have leaders from industry, Google, Quicken Loans, a number of competitors to now Lowe, Campbell, Ewald, to now Lowe, Campbell, Ewald, and we're really looking forward to a community event. $25 with discount. We're going to be sponsoring next month, so that means on Tuesday I'll be a sponsor. And so I guess my 30 seconds are more than over. See me if you'd like to know more.
Hi, I'm Simon B, and I'm a student in Eastern Michigan University, and I'm helping Dr. Gibson to host search marketing workshop. Thank you.
Kevin Packard from Foresight Group. You know, I'm thinking it might have been more interesting if we'd have been the October sponsor and I'd had Sparty here next week.
Hi, I'm Al Pacha, owner and president of Mal Packing, a software development company right here in Ann Arbor.
Hi, I'm Lisa Radley, and I'm a marketing manager and analyst, and I help customers do their sales and marketing, and I'm looking for my next opportunity to do that. Thanks a lot.
Hi, my name is Greg Bentel. I work at Spring Arbor University, and we specialize in offering non-traditional programs for working adults. We're taking applications now for our MBA, which is an 18-month journey beginning in February.
Hi, I'm Mary Evans. I work at Lowe, Campbell, and I'm lucky enough to work with this guy every day.
Hi, I'm Jane Delancey of Delancey Design, and we provide marketing services for small businesses and individuals, and it's my personal mission to resurrect PowerPoint. And that was a great presentation, great slides.
is Les Wood, and I work for a company called MS2 here in Ann Arbor, and we are software developers, and we're looking for software engineers. So I thought I'd come here today and see if any of you have friends or family or relationships with anybody who's looking to work for a local software engineering company. If you do have friends, I've got a job description here, so I'll hang around to the end, and you guys can come and talk to me if you're interested. Thanks.
Hello, I'm Stacy Washington, and I'm actually an attorney. I do drunk driving and criminal defense work, but I get a large number of clients for digital marketing, and I am learning as much as I can about it because it's something they didn't teach me when I was in law school 26 years ago. So I've had to learn a lot about marketing, and that's why
Hi, my name is Vanessa Pena. I work with Dave here at Good Stuff Studios. We help entrepreneurs and small businesses brand themselves. He's going to tell you a little bit more about that.
Now I feel like I'm on the spot. I am Dave Murray, the big guy at Good Stuff Studios, Real Bold Branding. What we do, pretty much what she said. The most important thing you can do for your business is not suck at what you do, and the second most important thing you can do for your business is to have it branded. So if anybody wants to talk to us a little bit about branding or know somebody, entrepreneurs, small businesses, game on, let's talk. Thanks.
Big little guy, I like that. Hi, I'm Thomas Blackwell, Principal Owner of Intel International. We do training and development. We'd like to have a special offer as we head into the holiday season. If you're looking for a special gift for your employees or anyone personal, check with me, please.
Hi, I'm Moritz with TechWise. We are in staffing and healthcare solution provider. We are working on healthcare IT security program right now. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Nancy Rojas Fairley, and I am a consultant, and I work with about 3 or 4 different manufacturers in Jackson, redoing their websites and email campaigns, and I've been sent here with the request of trying to get your feedback on either services or programs that will help translate their websites, in particular into Spanish at this point, but they are open to different languages. So if anybody has some recommendations, please get with me.
Hi, my name is Jordan Beecham, and I work for Dexter Builders. We do everything from designing and building entire houses all the way down to small handyman work.
Hi, I'm Slanta Fagundes. I work for Wit Media. It's a creative ad agency based in New York City. I do mostly online media sales for the Case Study Ad Network. We're always looking for freelance, Flash, HTML, and WordPress developers. So if anyone, please contact me.
Hi, excuse me. Hi, I'm Lori Byron, and I am here to plug an event. WXW, which is the Women's Exchange of Washtenaw. We're having an all-day conference on Thursday, October 10th. And WXW is a little different from some organizations because it's very interactive. We don't just have speakers who stand in the front of the room and lecture. Everyone gets involved, so it's going to be a lot of fun. It would be a great thing for any employers to send some of their employees to, too, as a development opportunity.
Can you guys come?
Yes. Welcome.
We have had several men come before. I'm Megan Crosby. I'm with the Charles Reinhardt Company, but I'm also here to promote the Women's Exchange of Washtenaw. I think last week I told everyone that it is a life-changing event, and I meant that in all seriousness. We have women come that are struggling in their career, and they're ready for a change, and they're inspired by this forum to do something new, take a new job opportunity, start their own business. There's plenty of testimonials from other women, and coming to this event, getting a support system, learning, having fun, helps them to do that. So check it out, Thursday, October 10th.
Hello, my name is Gina Carey. I'm the new one here. Pick a great week to start because I love CE, one of my favorite companies. But I am in the finance industry. I work for Huron Valley Financial, and I do home loans. So rates just dropped. Anyone wants to refinance, looking for a house, come see me.
Hello, my name is Timothy House, and I am a recent graduate of the EMU MBA program, and
I'm currently looking for opportunities either in paid search or web analytics. So if you know of any companies that are hiring in that area, just let me know. Thank you.
Bob Wagner, Foresight Group, offices in Ann Arbor and Lansing.
Susan Harris, check writer. I had work. I'm working on the Internet Time Protocol with the developers.
The busiest retired person. Hi, I'm Leslie McGraw of Let's Go Social Media Marketing and Training. And this week is the most exciting week for me since Shark Week. It is International Social Media Week. And so host cities across the globe are hosting, webinars and Google Hangouts and physical Hangouts and mixers to look at different angles, everything from intersection of law and social media to small business. And Deb Nystrom of Reverend Consultant and I are hosting a webinar tomorrow from 1 to 2. You can go to bit.ly/letsgosocial or just go to socialmediaweek.org, and we're hosting a Google Hangout. But even if you don't get to ours, there's something going on every hour of the day, even at night, for the rest of this week. So, thanks.
I'm Roger Rayle. I'm a venture catalyst, and I do a lot of live streaming, recording of video for events like this one. And we have a Ann Arbor Video Interest Group that meets on the second Wednesday of every month at Cubs AC. So go to a2vig.org to learn more about that.
Hello, I'm Cynthia Zimber. I'm with a company called TechEd, T-E-C-E-D. And I have a question for all of you. When was the last time, or can you remember, when you logged onto a website, or maybe you used a software application for the first time, and it was fun, it was a breeze to use, you got it, and you were successful?
When I went to the LA2M site. Boom.
Okay, all right, so this is pretty dismal. Just a couple of arms were raised. Well, I'm here to tell you that TechEd can help. We are a user research and design company, and we help clients, including Lowe, Campbell, Ewald, and their clients, deliver successful websites and other applications. Successful means providing a great user experience so that the customer is happy, the end user is happy, and you don't have to go back and retool, reprogram, start all over again. So if you've got a situation where usability and user experience is important, come and see me about what we do.
Hi, I'm Matt Rogers. I'm with Ann Arbor Radio. If any of you have clients or you yourself would like to get your business out on the radio, get your brand out, I'd love to talk to you about that. What I'd really like to highlight is in December we will have our 25th Rocking for the Hungry event with 107.1 FM. We're looking for non-traditional sponsors for that, people that aren't necessarily reaching out to consumers on a regular basis. Really, if you're a business, you're based in Washtenaw County, we all have a stake in fighting hunger and helping people get the food that they need. We have a goal to raise 250,000 pounds of food or funds to buy that much food this year. And anyone that wants to join us, we'd love to have your help.
Hi, I'm Morgan. I'm an advertising senior at Michigan State, and I'm interning with Laura at Nginx this semester.
Go green.
Hi, I'm Laura Kirshner, and I head up client accounts at Nginx Digital Marketing, so very applicable with me, thank you. So if any of you are looking to get a promotion or a raise or anything like that, you can come talk to me and I'll listen to you and we'll see what we can do. Thanks.
All right, I'm not even going to move. My name is Michael Kwan. I have lived and worked in the mobile lifestyle arena, connecting devices like this to the world around you and how you use this to find what you need to do in the real world. So I know lots of your pain from digital marketing and contextual advertising and those types of things. Yeah, that's really all I have, but I don't want to forget passing the microphone to the right person. I always forget.
I'm Carter Sherline from Print Studios. I'm a commercial editorial and portrait photographer, which covers almost everything photography, from portraits for personal or business use to images of shot. One of Tom was here as big 18-wheelers that he does for displays, and a lot of events. A Michigan runner and Michigan golfer magazine's senior photographer, and I shoot a lot of meetings such as this, of course, which I'll be shooting at such marketing workshop, TEDx, and pictures of these meetings go up on the group's Facebook page.
All right, thanks. And I'm Jim Uziel. I have a small company called 5522 Tech, and work as a consultant for web and mobile development. I work with small businesses to help them with their digital strategy. So let's give it up one more time for Chris. We really appreciate you spending your lunchtime here today with us. Hopefully the beer was good and cold. Delicious. Excellent. Again, next week, Tuesday, not Wednesday. Get here early. John Bacon. It will be a really great talk. And Wednesday is TEDx. So if you've not applied for application to go, please do so today. Other than that, everybody have a wonderful day, and we'll see you next week.